Hi everyone, welcome to Link Up's top tip video series, Adapt, Survive and Thrive, where we're looking at what makes a resilient organisation. First, let's have a look at purpose. We spoke about leadership and strategy and the value of purpose right now. So if you'd like to just expand on that a little bit, Harriet, that'd be great.
So in terms of purpose, many organizations, spend a lot of time doing their strategy and they come up with their vision and their mission. I actually prefer to talk about purpose. I think for two reasons. It's a word that everybody understands, and what is your vision? People start reaching for the crystals, I think, sometimes. But if you ask what's the purpose of something, it's a word that we use all the time, and it offers a real practical sense of why we're around. And I think the other more important thing in this time of uncertainty and the need for, we talked about in our last meeting, the need for flexibility in these uncertain times, is that to talk about purpose is suggested of a direction of travel rather than the end in sight. And I think what uncertainty provides us for is the fact that, in the past we were in a complicated but logical world where we said we want to get to this point and we're here now, so therefore there's a gap and we need to fill it. Now we're in a complex world. We actually do not know. Nobody knows. We have lots of ideas and we have lots of both optimism around things like environment and the change work practice, but we're also afraid of the things that we might lose and the things that we have lost in the process. So thinking about purpose is critical to help people get a sense of a mutual direction of travel for their organization.
Question now, and this is for any organization who's feeling off purpose. What would you suggest things for them to think about?
It sounds like off color, doesn't it? I actually, and this is important, I don't think you feel off purpose. I think what happens is you simply forget. You do one of two things. You either forget about your purpose, and it's a kind of woods for trees. You're so busy running about going, oh my God, I've got no money left, or what about my poor staff, or what about the volunteers I'm doing, and you're running around in circles. Not that any of us would ever do that, obviously. So it's not that you're off purpose, you've forgotten. And and this also happens, you simply assume. So what happens with clients that I work with, I'll say to them, so what is your purpose? And they may talk a little bit around that. And then I'll say, if I asked your sales manager or your head of programs what your purpose are, would they say the same thing? And there are big assumptions made about this. So as I said, as a coach, I tend to ask questions rather than give top tips. But one of the things that I would suggest is if you're having a team meeting, it can actually be quite a fun thing to ask. Okay, guys, I know that we all think that we know this, but what would we say our purpose is? And there are two things you can do. Is you could either ask it in advance and ask people to post it or put it in the chat room or give a sentence and see. One of the questions that I have used effectively in the past is to say to people, complete the sentence. And if it's Wandsworth or London or the world or England or whatever, you could say, Wandsworth needs us because. And how would you complete that sentence? And that often gets to the heart of what people are feeling that they need. And there's a dynamic that you can also do is you could ask people to pretend to be a key stakeholder and say, okay, if you were a customer, a client, a person that works alongside us or whatever, how would they answer that question? And see if you come to some clarity. And what this does is you may all agree, and that's fantastic. No need not to celebrate. Yes, we're all on track. We all know what we're doing. Or you may find that there's some interesting differences that are coming up that you want to think about. And it doesn't need to be a long exercise. It can be fun. And what you can do is afterwards, you can say to people, how about in the next meeting, we also then look at what we each respectively do and say, in relation to that purpose, what's my role?